Scared Spliff podcast.
How about you, Chris? Can you tell us about... Oh, wait, before we go on to Trestle Ants, where could we find, or where could our listeners find incredulous music and videos and porno?
And porno. You can go on to Bandcamp. If you just search incredulousmetal.bandcamp.com, our EP, The Weight of Time, is up on there right now. I think there's a couple tracks that had some issues upon upload, and so the bass players still need a chance to re-upload those and fix the whatever technical difficulty happened with technology at that point, and then it'll be 100% again. But yeah, you can go there, and then YouTube. I know we have a few videos up on YouTube a bunch of different people have taken, so I wouldn't be able to name anything specifically.
That's sick. Hell yeah. Appreciate that, man, because that band is actually really fucking sick in R&R. One of those really good gems that are coming out of the whole Sonoma County, Santa Rosa area.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Chris, now that we've heard that, and I'm pretty sure you're waiting to say your big band, can you talk to us about Trestle Ants?
Let's see, yeah, so besides Sepulchre, I play guitar in a band called Trestle Ants, and we are mainly, we consider ourselves more, we're definitely in the thrash end, but we still got elements of, like traditional heavy metal, and I guess it's more, what we've been labeled as from people that like us or whatever, a mixture between, King Diamond and Iron Maiden meets, Forbidden and Violence, which I love all those bands, so that's, a huge compliment and stuff. But yeah, we got a little bit of a somewhat, when it comes to the newer thrash bands, a techie side to it to a certain extent, how not in the way how Vector is or anything, but we yeah, I don't know. I mean, but we could fit on a bill with those guys, for example, that style, I guess. But we released our debut full length album, Justified Atrocities, last year, and we actually just shipped 20 CDs to Taiwan yesterday, or I think Donnie shipped them off today. And people have heard of us so far, and they like what they hear. So, I mean, we've been around for, actually, the band, there's all four of us. There's me on guitar, Donnie Small on guitar, Lon Cabrera on drums, Dan Covington on bass and vocals. And the other three, actually, we've all known each other, actually, before Sepulchre and Trestle Ants ever started, but yeah, so they started the band, I think, around fall of 2011 or 2012, or no, 2011, yeah. And they were around 2 years before I came in, and they released the EP called Acidic Demise, which I have one of the originals, which is cool. But then they added me on around, I think, spring of 2013. And that's when we all, started a sport to really, start playing shows. I remember the first actual time I performed with them was at my high school, Santa Rosa High School Battle of the Bands, and we won that year, and we got $200, which was hella cool. But ever since then, we've been doing some really cool stuff. I mean, we've gone down, played the Whiskey Go-Go a few times, open up for, the first time we went down there was Exodus. No, not Exodus. Ex Mortis. I wish Exodus will be next, hopefully, whenever the fuck that happens. But Ex Mortis and Warbringer, and then we co-headlined with Possessed one time, and the last time we were down there was with Death Angel. And I don't know when we're gonna do a show down there again, but that'll be cool whenever that happens. But yeah, I mean, it's fun, I guess. We're playing a show tomorrow, and you know where Casper is? Casper, California?
Holy shit.
It's on the coast somewhere. We're playing a show there tomorrow with shredded metal. I shredded metal and some other bands, but it's hey, they gave us $100 guarantee and free beer, so we're whatever, why not? And it's up in the nice wooded area of the coast, and I love that area. So yeah, we've been. And then I think also, oh yeah, is it Monday or Sunday or Monday? We're playing a show in Sacramento with two New Jersey bands, Xenophile and Paralysis. They're kind of like, they're both thrash bands, and I think Scythe is also playing that, which is another cool like up and coming band as well from the area. But yeah, Trestle Ants, that's like it's pretty much Sepulchre and Trestle Ants are kind of like two sides of the same coin in a lot of ways. We've been through a lot with each other. We've played so many shows with each other, and we're always all of us are hanging out. So like in a way, it's like two bands in one union. I like to think about it because we're kind of just connected that way. But yeah, that's Trestle Ants, and I got other side projects going on, but those are the two main ones, Sepulchre and Trestle Ants, pretty much.
Oh yeah, that's sick.
And then I know Chris and Luis are also in a side project together.
Oh yeah, I forgot Amnesia, but that hasn't been a thing for a bit. We have some stuff online, and we've played a few shows, and it'll start up again. But it's more of like a sludge. It's like traditional, like old school sludge, like St. Vitus mixed with like grindcore and power violence and all that stuff, like hardcore and Terrorizer influence as well. Yeah, I play drums in that one. Luis plays guitar. Luis is the bass player from Sepulchre, and then our vocalist is Alex from. He's a hella cool guy, and he's just kind of been like within our crew and friends for a long time. And he's actually the one who's helping us produce and record our cassette that we're gonna put out pretty soon. 2 songs, this 2-song cassette, and that's gonna be hella cool. And 2 songs, I know it doesn't sound like that much, but both songs are around like 7 or 8 minutes long, I think. So
They're like 9.
What? They're like 9? Yeah, they're kind of long, but it's a really cool raw cassette, and we hope to get that out as soon as possible. The mixing's already done. We just got to dub the cassettes and print the covers, and that's gonna be fun. So, but yeah, Amnesia is another cool project that we just like to do, and so yeah, I guess I have other ones, but I'm not about to like go any more longer into this.
No, yeah, that's what I find really interesting about a lot of musicians up north. That you guys just fucking work. Like you don't have any distractions. You guys don't wait. It's just like, oh, we're waiting for this to come out. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go fucking start this up with this other guy. That's as good as like this other fucker right here. So that's what I really appreciate you guys, because it's like so much fucking work and just so much musicianship. Just so fucking badass. But
yeah. Wait, go ahead. Sorry. Whoa.
Someone's flying. But can you guys talk a little bit about how it is to be an underground band? So like, let me explain what I mean. Like, obviously we have the underground bands that we see in like Revolver and stuff, like Terrorizer and stuff and things like that that influenced us. But the newer bands to me are considered the underground of the underground, just like right at the bottom, that some of us might not even get a record contract, might not even fucking tour overseas. Like, how do you guys feel about that? Like, is it like, what is your take as far as like where your band is gonna go, or where your music's gonna go, or what exactly you're trying to accomplish with your music?
I mean, it's kind of, I've always seen it as a necessary thing to go through. Like, I've never thought like, oh, I've kind of always been like this. Like, I'm like, I'll always do the music for myself. But when it comes to record contract and touring, like, you gotta go out there and show people what you have. Like, you gotta go out and, it's like, my whole thing is that nobody deserves anything, and they only deserve it when it's due. And it's like, and that's like, not only makes me want to press harder and harder to become a better musician and to like make Sepulchre and Trestle Ants a better band. It's like, it's the constant push, even though you think like, oh shit, like, there's more of this, da da da. In a way, it's at the moment, it's like, it's some people, I don't think so. Some people might consider it a pain in the ass, but I see it as a blessing and a curse. I feel like you know, if we do become a band that goes on further and becomes like signed and all this stuff, that we'll look back on these days and really like kind of cherish them in a way. And I think these days right now, as being an underground band, we're kind of like you know, finding ourselves, and it's the whole like birthing process of the whole thing that honestly is the exciting part for me. So overall, when it comes to being a underground band, I would say everything about it is amazing. I mean, sometimes it's like, I mean, I've said it multiple times. I'm not doing this for the money. I mean, a lot of times I just give out shirts, and I mean, we like to get something back as much as possible so we can make ends do and stuff. But most of the time, uh, you know, we're not making money at this at the moment. I mean, we're not planning to, you know, be like, you know, some Metallica fools, like, you know, cussing out Napster for stealing our songs and shit like that. But you know, it's just the way it goes. I mean, it's part of the atmosphere, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's part of the it's just the way it is. You know, like you got to make your dues, I guess. You know, and you understand that, I know.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, totally. So, what are you guys' favorite local bands or favorite underground bands from the West Coast, East Coast, or any band that is out right now that you guys are really into?
Man, let's see. What is it like when it just comes to like metal and stuff, or
In general, I mean, like you don't have to just stick to metal, in general.
all right, in general. Forrest, do you want to go? Okay.
They're not from California, but there's a band from, I think, Seattle called Zoth,
Oh yeah.
XUH, and we played with those guys up in Eureka one night. They're fucking sick. They're crazy.
Yeah.
These guys were fucking awesome.
I would definitely actually, yeah, I would say Zoth as well. Zoth is a great underground band. I would also say Infernal Damnation too, but you know,
Fuck those guys.
I would, yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
No,
They suck.
I'm trying to. I mean, like, I don't know. For me, like, I mean, I could go on about bands that I like in all different types of. I want to try to limit it to metal because I know if I start going into other genres, I'm gonna start like kind of like wandering away from the conversation and shit. And, you know, I'm just gonna make a whole big ass like thing like, oh, this. But when it comes to metal or the punk scene, oh, there's this really cool band I saw semi recently. I don't know. I don't necessarily have any favorites in the underground, like, you know, scene or anything like that. But I see bands. I'm like, oh, you know, they caught my eye and stuff. I saw this cool band that came through Santa Rosa. They're like a hardcore punk band. I think they're either from like the eastern part of Canada, or I think they're Canadian. Called Shit. They're just like SHIT. I don't know. They're really cool guys and cool band and stuff. And then there's also when it comes to like more of the punk stuff, there's also this grind band called Fiend that's like from Fresno, I think, and then there's also another power violence band from the Bay Area called Concussive, who are really cool. And I like a lot of that raw stuff, but death metal wise, I guess. Let's see, what was that band that we played with at the Phoenix? They're from Arizona, Forest. They're like the really technical. They start with the S.
Singularity. I just said it.
Oh, I couldn't hear you. But yeah, Singularity is a hell of a cool ass band. But and there's a lot of bands I can give kudos to. I'm just trying to list names right now at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. Totally. And would you guys say? Okay. Well, in this podcast, we started this epic battle that nobody has ever talked about before. And I want to hear you guys' intake on it. Maybe you guys all agree with it or whatever, but what you guys pick between Star Wars and Lord of the Rings?
Oh, man.
Fucking Star Wars.
Fuck.
I gotta go with Star Wars. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
Lightsaber will fuck up a sword. That's all I'm saying.
I know, but, oh, man, I'm so, like, that battle has been fucking with me since I could remember. But yeah. I've actually, as much as I love Both. Definitely not one of those. I'm not about to go like full on Clerks on that shit and start shitting this. I'm not gonna about to shit on one or the other, but I'm gonna have to say Star Wars on this. Like Star Wars is the shit. You know, I first started when I was younger, just because I've understood Star Wars for longer. I feel like when I was younger, I was like, oh, Lord of the Rings is cool, but they're hell long ass movies. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but Star Wars, it's like always like something that hell yeah, I'm gonna sit down and watch this and just fully enjoy this. But I like both, but I'm gonna have to say Star Wars on that. And also, it was Star Wars was filmed around this area around Marin County, and George Lucas is kind of a local guy, so maybe I gotta stick with my North Bay clan.
Sicky, and like your guys' music kind of does sound very like spacey and stuff, and you guys are you guys are very spacey type of guys too, like when both of our bands get together, we fly to the moon pretty often, so yeah. And now let's jump into a little bit of a different topic. What are different areas around you guys that you guys would consider or would say are haunted or just like really eerie, creepy areas? Because I mean, you guys obviously have Bohemian Grove pretty close to you guys.
Oh, definitely the Sonoma Cemetery.
Yeah, there's that too. Oh man, yeah. This is actually one of my favorite questions now. I mean, you brought up the Bohemian Grove. I mean, Sepulchre doesn't really have much of this, but like Trestle Ants, like the lyrical content is very like, I mean, especially the lyrics that Zane writes, and I mean, we even had shirts of like, we're not at the level of like embryonic development when it comes to like conspiracy theory shit, but we kind of have a little bit of that aspect, and we kind of have a little bit of that energy too. But when it comes to freaky shit around here, I mean, of course you have the Bohemian Grove, but when I'm talking about like ghost type stuff, I mean, there's you got the Sonoma Mountain Cemetery, like Forrest said. I used to go to the rural cemetery a lot in Santa Rosa here. That's right down the road from me. We got a lot of creepy spots. I mean, honestly, the whole area of Rona Park, Santa Rosa, Petaluma, and even Sebastopol as well, like it all looks like nice and everything, and nature around here is beautiful, but I feel like there's some like weird dark shit going around here sometimes. I don't know.
Damn, what makes you say that?
Okay, well, I know Forrest has a few stories of some shit, but I mean, I don't know, like, I've seen some straight up weird ass shit, like in downtown Santa Rosa. Forrest, go ahead with your Sebastopol stories. I know you have some Sebastopol stories going on.
Yeah, because I mean, like, obviously we're going to have listeners that are going to listen to this, so it would be really cool if you guys know of actual places to, give, the directions or something like that. Maybe viewers could actually go to where you guys are saying and could experience the same thing, or, maybe just be like, you guys are full of shit, stop smoking so much weed.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll just make a checklist of places, okay? And who's ever listening, you're just going to have to write these down or something like that. Or you can look up stories on the internet about some weird shit. But you have the Sonoma Mountain Cemetery, like I said. You also have like this old Sonoma like insane asylum that's like was used.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've heard about that shit. That shit's fucked up. They're basically like people from the Philadelphia experiment during World War II were kept there, and there's some fucked up stories behind that. We also have in the Santa Rosa Rural Cemetery, we had some hangings there, like back in the day. That happened a lot, especially in Railroad Square, hella haunted too. Like a lot of the area around here was affected by the 1906 earthquake, and a lot of people say that like a lot of the ghosts are from then, like, they still like haunt the area and shit like that. Let's see. What else would you say for us?
Let's see. As far as haunted areas go in Sonoma County,
I'm honestly trying to like think of like actual like. I mean, of course, I've seen like like some small stuff, but like when it comes to like scary, like spooky, like ghost stuff, I don't really know any like stories that are like, oh, like mass murder and all this shit, like stuff like that. It's kind of just like small stuff. I mean, from my knowledge, I know the McDonald area of Santa Rosa, like the really old school area, is like got some like spooky shit going on there. Like a lot of I know a lot of the old Alfred Hitchcock movies were filmed there as well too.
Oh, sweet. Well, how about any encounters, like first-hand encounters? Because obviously you guys, like, it sounds like you guys' area is very, very, like, fucking enchanted and really awesome, which for me personally is sick because every single time I go on tour or I drive over there, I don't even drive, or, like, I take the fucking bus over there. It's like a 10-hour bus ride for me. So I'm just literally sitting down, looking around the windows and just like, dude, like, now that I know this, just like, fucking yeah. So...
Yeah. Actually, how dare I fucking even like pass over this? But the Phoenix Theater's fucking haunted.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
The Phoenix. That's our home base. That place has had some crazy shit going on there. I'm just pretty much recently, actually, Donnie from Trestle Ants lent me it. But there was a very like low key like documentary that was actually released like last year, just called Haunted Sonoma County, and they have some cool spots there, but the Phoenix is not as well, and the Phoenix I've known for a long time has been haunted, and I've even talked to Tom, the owner, and he's giving me some stories. I mean, if we got a little bit of time, maybe I could like say a few things that I know that's happened like that.
Well, right now we're reaching about an hour, which is totally fine because this podcast has no time limits as long as, like, it sounds good and we're doing good, and so far, so far it's really juicy. So, there's no time limit. As long as you guys have time, I have time. I'm sitting down right here, enjoying my toke. You guys, I'm pretty sure, are joining me as well. If not, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
I did a little while ago, actually. I don't know if you guys heard it. I was pretty quiet with it.
Oh, what? Well, I'm kind of like a lame ass right now, and I don't have any toke or no joke or anything like that. But it's okay. I got my guitar in my hand right now. But I'll talk about some Phoenix stories. Okay, I've actually seen...
Well, before we start, I just want to say this for all the ladies out there. Chris is the pretty boy of Sepulchre. I just want to say that. He's the papi chulo.
What is that? What? All right, fine. That's what my name is now. I'm Puppy Chulo. That's going to be on the back of the Sepulchre album cover now.
Puppy Chulo, guitar and books.
You know it.
I secretly, low-key, get all the bitches somehow.
And he doesn't mean women. He means dogs.
I mean the female dogs. I don't know if you're into that. Never mind. Okay.
They love them. They love them. All right, let's go into the juiciness of Sonoma County.
How about what happened when we were on the balcony in the Phoenix when we went and saw Suicidal Tendencies?
Yeah, so I was going up. It was the first time I saw Suicidal Tendencies. It was like October of 2010. And fuck, that's so weird. That's almost 7 years ago. Anyways, I was walking up. Where there's like these. You walk into the main lobby area, and then there's two stairs that go up to the balcony, and then in the middle of that, there's a big huge like mirror right there, and pretty much up there is the balcony and the bathroom. So I had to go to the bathroom, and I was walking up if you're looking at the mirror, like the stairs on the right, I was walking up those stairs, and on the corner of my eye, the door that goes into the balcony, as I reach the top to the second floor to go to the bathroom, I see a fat ass like black figure just standing there for like a good like 3 seconds, and this is before I even ever like touched a sip of alcohol or like anything like that, and this is before I was like anything. I obviously wasn't under the influence of anything or whatsoever, but I know what I saw. I saw a fat ass black figure right there, and I looked over, and all of a sudden it was gone for like within like that. So that's what I've seen at the Phoenix. I've had plenty of stories from other friends where like friends who back in the day used to sleep on the stage, and they used to hear big fat footsteps because there used to be a few people who died on the stage who fell from the rafters. I know somebody died near where the soundboard is when they fell back from ladders, and then I know somebody died like literally like right smack dab in the middle of the stage when they fell from the rafters up ahead. I know that there's been a few fires there as well. Like the place is burnt down a few times, like back in the day, and I think people might have died in that fire as well. I know there's this one ghost called the Lady in Green, where I guess if you're playing on the stage or if you're on the stage, you can look up in the balcony and there's like a girl up in the balcony, pretty much just sitting there. I guess she's like dressed in a green dress, and pretty much I heard the most activity happens in the basement and in the balcony.
That is
And I
a
heard
fucking trip, dude. That's
yeah,
trippy.
dude, there's some weird ass shit like.
So,
If you ever got Tom on when he's feeling like he wants to talk about it, he will sit down and talk to you about like, yeah, so the ghost story this, ghost story that, and I've heard a few things from him, and also you get cool stories from him in general, of like, you know, bands that have come through. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous how many amazing bands have come through there, like when they were underground still. I mean, Harry Houdini's even fucking performed there, so that place is amazing.
No, yeah,
but
the Phoenix is a sick ass place.
And it's, you know, there's not a lot of places in the world like that for, especially for all genres of music, and especially the stuff that we play as well. You know, so it's kind of just like that place to stay alive, and the ghost there. There's definitely that place is definitely haunted. That's for sure. I know that.
No, yeah, and that's a trip that you actually mentioned, Dad, because you know Infernal Damnation has actually played at the Phoenix. You know, you guys know that already because we've played with you guys, obviously. Duh. But you know, like for people that don't know or don't care, you know, like I'm just saying that it sounds cool or that it's really awesome that you're mentioning that because when I play or when Infernal plays. A lot of people don't know, but like I kind of like do like this little ritual thing that I manifest some type of energy and project it out to the audience and stuff. And I remember a couple of times looking up in the balcony area and not seeing a lady in green or anything, but actually seeing and feeling that there were people staring down at us. You know? So like that's also like that's really cool that you mentioned that because I've never really told the guys or anything because you know like the guys are really not into all that stuff. But I mean it's really interesting that actually somebody that's from the area has said something like that. But is there any other awesome, really like fucked up, scary stories that you guys have or first encounters, on the road or individually or growing up?
Well, I know Forrest has some when he grew up in Washington, so you should say some of that shit.
Well, I actually had one, like,
Cemetery one?
talking about the Phoenix more.
No, we'll talk about the Phoenix and the cemetery one because I like that one.
The cemetery one? Okay, yeah. So the Phoenix one, I don't know, either of you, I don't think have been down in the basement at all.
I haven't even been in the basement, yeah.
I didn't even know they had a fucking basement.
Well, you know the Oscar, like, alongside of the stage, they got that little hallway with the door and that tiny-ass, like, staircase next to the stage?
That it looks kind of like a little backstage room or something?
Like, it's like, on the very right hand of the stage, they've got, like, curtains on one side. And if you go back there, there's, like, that little tiny-ass hallway that brings you up onto the side of the stage.
Oh shit! Oh, right. I see. Yeah, I've never really, honestly, I've never really been to that side of the stage because for some weird reason, I kind of don't really want to get near there. So I don't know. Maybe this is actually like a reason why, and now I kind of want to go.
The door to the basement is, like, right there.
Nice.
But if you go down into the basement, it's, like, 2 rooms. And the room you walk into at first is fine. It's lit. There's fucking graffiti all over the walls, kind of like the rest of the Phoenix, you know. And it's just kind of like a little concrete box with a light hanging from the ceiling. And then the next room has no light in it. And you walk in, there's like maybe 3 or 4 feet of like ground that is the same level. And then it just drops a couple feet into like some water, and it's just black after that. You don't see shit.
Whoa.
There's nothing. I've never been anywhere past that point in that room. I never wanted to go in there. I got a weird feeling once I went in there. And that was it.
Scared Spliff Podcast.